The veteran Donaire goes to the body with the right, left hook. And Oubaali is down!
Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. Name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today we're going to recap last night's two boxing title fights that went down on DAZN and Showtime. We had on DAZN Devin Haney defending his WBC lightweight title against Jorge Linares, and on Showtime we had Nordine Oubaali defending his bantamweight title against Nonito Donaire. Donaire in that fight was attempting to become the oldest bantamweight title holder in history, and we'll get into all of that. I'm going to start with Haney and Linares, but we had two really outstanding fights last night, and if you watched them live, I hope you enjoyed them as much as we did. Make sure you catch the preview videos that Rob and myself made prior to the fights coming out, where we talked about what we thought was going to happen. Here, we watched the fights, we've talked about it, and we're going to talk about what happened in the actual fights versus what we talked about in the preview videos. So go check those out because we dropped some good info in there, and it's pretty accurate as well based on how the fights played out and what we thought was going to happen. So subscribe, because we got two guys who are deep in the sport and know what we're talking about, and we love to rap with excited, knowledgeable fans. So if that's you, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, like this channel, and drop comments so you can talk with us. We love it. Thank y'all to those that do. So let's get into Haney and Linares. This was a very high-paced, tactical fight that had a lot of leather being thrown. Now, when we talked about in the preview video, we did talk about a lot of exchanges going down, and we got a ton of them, especially in the second half of the fight. The second half of the fight was a barn burner. The first half of the fight, we had Devin Haney really putting on a boxing clinic on Linares, who looked like he was trying to get the timing of Haney down. When we talked about in the preview video, we talked about Linares possibly having a better jab because of where he holds his hands. But last night, Devin Haney put on a clinic with his left hand. It was a sight to behold. I was impressed by it because if you watch the preview video, I was going over how I really didn't like how he holds his left hand to throw his jab, because sometimes it can come off as a backhand and you kind of have to move it into position to throw it. But last night, he put some beautiful combinations off that jab. He would jab to the body, throw an uppercut, jab, hook, jab, and throw combinations off of it, and it was really, really nice. Linares kind of showed his hand early that he wanted to counter with some big shots, especially the left hook, because another thing we talked about in that video, while Haney has decent defense, sometimes his hands are not where they should be when he's throwing punches, especially that left hand. And we're going to talk about that later on too, because that was a big part of this fight. So early on, Haney, who's known to be a mover, stayed right in front of Linares and decided that he was going to use his natural size advantage, because remember, Jorge Linares has fought all the way down to like 118 and has, been a 3-division world champion, 2 of which being at those lower weights. Devin Haney has been pretty much in this lightweight division his entire career. He's only 22. He's a really young guy, but of course he's the naturally bigger guy. He's younger, faster, and he put that on display for the majority of this fight. Like I said, he was using that jab. The jab to the body was really, really effective in this fight to stop Linares from getting in on him and getting a little bit closer, because Haney had a slight reach advantage as well. And with Linares showing his hand that, hey, I'm trying to counter you and catch you while you're throwing your flashy things, because I'm a little bit tighter with my technique, Haney was able to use his head movement, use his legs at times, and he was putting on a defensive show as well. Right around round 5, though, is when Linares really started getting his timing down, started letting his hands go with Haney, and that's when the firefight started. And man, both guys started landing really, really clean, crowd-pleasing shots. And that's when we really started to get a fight on our hands. Linares was starting to land those counter hooks. Haney was not moving as much anymore. Possibly looking for a knockout, because it did look for a little while that Linares was slowing down a bit. You could see his face getting marked up. He was having a lot of trouble hitting Haney. And so Haney was probably starting to get really, really confident and that he could, one, take Linares' shot if he did hit him, and two, he was having so much success dodging it that maybe he got a little more brave and decided to stay in there a little bit longer. And it was to the benefit of us and his stock, because he showed that he could get in there and really mix it up with the upper echelon fighters. Jorge Linares is nobody to sneeze at. He's one of the top fighters in the division, former belt holder. Like we talked about in the preview video, someone that gave one of the best fighters in the sport, Vasily Lomachenko, all he could handle when they fought. So as far as round count, I really didn't give Linares any of the rounds that was going on. But at times, he did look like he was landing the harder shots. But the crispness of Haney, the urgency that he had, the amount of punches that he was landing, it looked like he was getting the better of Linares in the exchanges. His straight right was looking really good, coming straight down the middle. Like we talked about in the preview video, he likes to loop it a lot, which he did in this fight to success as well. But he was able to straighten it up and come straight through the guard of Linares often. And this worked great. Now, things got interesting. We talked about in the preview video how Haney keeps that left hand low, and it would leave Linares' windows open for Linares' straight right hand, because I said his was a lot crisper than Haney's. So what happened right at the end of the round, Haney throws a little combination and tries to get defensive. Linares doesn't let him off the hook, throws his own combination and combos him right into a straight right hand as the bell rings. Haney stumbles as he's going to his corner, and everybody sees it. Linares sees it, and from that point, he's like, it's on. I got him. The 11th round comes out, and Linares is going for the kill, and Haney is in defense mode. You know, at that point, when you're buzzed, there's you got to do what you got to do to get your head clear. So, I mean, there were times where Haney would just kind of duck his head, step in, and grab Linares, which is against the rules. Like, you can't do that. However, a lot of refs aren't really going to call that and until it gets to a point where it's excessive. And Haney was borderline there. However, he did throw a little bit. And towards like the middle to the end of the 11th round, started to get his bearings back. But Linares starts landing again, and you can see that Haney's still not all the way there. Round 12, same thing. Linares is trying to go for it, but so is Haney. And Haney is really trying to put an exclamation mark on his win. And it got him hit again. So he's then having to survive again through the 12th round. So all three, 10, 11, and 12, I scored for Linares. There were some close rounds, maybe like 5 through 7 that you could have given to Linares also. But 1 through 4 was definitely all Haney. And 10 through 12, I think, was all Linares. But Devin Haney showed that he could survive being hurt. Devin Haney showed that he could be in there with somebody who hits hard and stay in the pocket, be defensively sound. Put on an exciting performance, because this was a really good performance. This was really exciting from round 1. And now we have to see where he goes from here. Vasily Lomachenko has a fight coming up. Teofimo Lopez has a fight coming up. Ryan Garcia is currently out, dealing with some personal things. So you never want to knock a man for trying to make sure that he is right, healthy, and mind, body, and spirit. So, hopefully he takes care of those things and gets back into what he does best, which is, boxing. So Haney is probably going to sit out probably the rest of the year, but he was able to have a strong performance to hang his hat on and, look forward to the next opportunity. Same thing with Linares. He showed that he's got a lot more in the tank, and he is ready to take on another top contender. But like I said, they're all booked up right now. Maybe we do a rematch. I don't think that the fight was close enough to where we would really be looking forward to that. However, if Linares knows to throw his hands a little bit early, maybe he catches Haney early. And then we have possibly a stoppage and a trilogy on our hands. Sort of like Wilder and Fury. There was a nice clip that we posted on our Facebook page where Haney and Linares are backstage talking, and Haney's asking him, how was my speed, how was my power, blah blah blah, how was my power compared to Lomachenko, and Linares was like, your speed's really good. It took me a while to get used to it. He said he was too tight up until round 5, and you could see it. So maybe with those adjustments, we get a different fight. So that's something we could look at as well. But hats off to both men. Let's talk about Nonito Donaire and his history-making performance at 118. So he comes in about 18 months off from the fight with Naya Inoue, who had his orbital bone broken in that fight. So that was a big, tough fight. It was the fight of the year for 2019. So instant classic, outstanding fight. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But we're talking about last night, Nordine Oubaali, Nonito Donaire. There was a stark size difference between these two guys. And Donaire looked like he was a couple weight classes bigger than Oubaali come fight night. Rob talked about that being one of the things that may play a factor in this fight. And also he talked about the uppercut. He talked about the right uppercut, but Donaire's left uppercut was one that was landing pretty much at will. Donaire was touching him with just about everything, really. What I really liked was how his legs looked at 38 years old, facing a somewhat younger fighter, a lot less on the fight odometer than Donaire has. But he was able to slip, slide, and bounce out of a lot of those combos. And because of that massive reach advantage, still touch Oubaali with like lead rights, counter lefts, almost at will. It's hard to critique someone who knocks somebody out in the 4th round. But I would have, the only thing I think Nonito Donaire could have done more was like maybe throw more jabs. But other than that, I mean, he let Oubaali come to him. He pretty much knew everything he was gonna throw. He looked outstanding Saturday night. And then we get the 3rd round. Oubaali's starting to find his range and landing some good left hands. Nonito Donaire just didn't care. He had his focus, and he was like, I am going to hit you hard and hurt you, which he ended up doing late in that round. Got a good knockdown on the ropes. He's going for the kill, and like I said, maybe setting it up a little more with the jab, he may get him out of there sooner. However, that's not the case. They are exchanging. The bell rings, and Donaire hits him with another left hook and floors Oubaali, face plant style. I thought the fight was over. However, he showed a lot of heart in getting up from that left hook, and you got to give him credit for that. That was amazing. He's in great condition, and he's got great heart because he got leveled, and you could clearly tell he did not know what was going on, but he was not going to give up either. So Donaire comes out in the 4th round in absolute seek and destroy mode, and finally gets to him with that combination through a left hook, stuns him, throws the right hand, and then the left uppercut catches him as Oubaali tries to duck, and he just crumples into the ropes. And Jack Reese counts a little bit, calls the fight. Donaire is the new bantamweight champ. Amazing fight. Congrats to him. Congrats to both. All four of these guys, even the undercard fighters. The undercard fighters did a great job as well. We had some good knockouts on there. Man, it was a really good, entertaining night of boxing on both networks, and that's what we love about the Sweet Science. So let me know what you thought about the fights. Hit the comment section below. Who do you think is next? How do you think they fare against whoever's next? And we'll wrap with you there. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Capital Combat. And until the next video, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are